now. If you have any question, please put it in the Q&A section. And with that, let's begin. Let's start. And I would hand over to Shilpa.
Thank you so much. And a very warm welcome from our side as well. I'm Shilpa Vij, part of product management team for SAP Integration Suite, together with Jannis Maier. We both are from the same team. We'll take you to how you can modernize and elevate to cloud with SAP Integration Suite. So in next minutes, we will discuss on how you can future-proof your integration, innovate with Integration Suite, how you can migrate your process orchestration and process integration artifacts to Integration Suite, hybrid integration with Edge Integration Cell, a bit on the system with demos, and finally, we talk about recent innovations and roadmap ahead. We will be open for questions. For you, we have 2 poll questions which we will ask during the session, so stay tuned. Okay, so let's get started. When you see a large enterprise, it averages over 600 plus business application. The IT is really complex and data coming in from different environments, cloud, public cloud, on-premise, hybrid landscapes. Especially when you double click on the integration landscape here, you have, again, huge data lakes and data, again, coming in from on-premise systems, cloud, public cloud, private cloud, not only SAP, but a huge chunk is on third-party applications as well. Then you have integration silos, data silos, and to bridge this gap, we have one holistic platform for you, which we call it as SAP Integration Suite. Now, what it allows you to do is A2A integration, B2B, B2G, API-based, event-based, and we are embedding a lot of AI capabilities in this. And also we have hybrid landscape. We support hybrid landscape. So not only in cloud you can deploy your integrations, but also in on-premise. Yeah. And when you see how we have evolved in this journey is in 2003, we started with SAP Exchange infrastructure. Then we moved on to process integration and process orchestration. Then we have we have heard our customers and the need to move to cloud. So we had our first footprint as SAP Cloud Platform integrations, typically the cloud integration and SAP HANA Cloud integration names on BTP Neo environment. With this, we also launched API Business Hub, which is the central catalog for our APIs integration and other content. Now, there was a huge need and also a big feedback from our customers. How can we have a unified landscape or unified product which talks about API-based integration, which talks about cloud integration, the process integration, B2B integration, B2G integration, also eventing. Yeah. So that's where Integration Suite was born, and it's on SAP BTP Cloud Foundry environment. Recently, we also have embedded Event Mesh, not only in the product, which means not only in Integration Suite landing page, but also as part of licensing of Integration Suite. So today we have SAP Integration Suite, one holistic and modern platform for all your future integration and innovation needs. Now let's have a deeper look into what it is. Let me just quickly on my pointer. Yeah. So when we talk about Integration Suite, we are talking about a holistic set of capabilities which support your integration end to end. That means any to any, be it cloud, be it on-premise, be it public cloud, be it data, be it process. Yeah. So we support integration end to end. Now, what do we have? To provide you these integration, to quick start your integration journey, we have faster time to value and simplification of your content, of your integration journey. We provide you with pre-built integrations. There are a lot of integrations which are there in Business Hub. It's around 8,500 integration content which is there. Then our low-code and AI-based tools, operated by SAP, and we have a lot of third-party connectivity options. If you see on the numbers, we have 250 plus connectors, and out of that 240 plus integration connectors, or the connectors are for third-party applications. So as I mentioned, we are really end-to-end. We provide you with end-to-end integration solution, be it your event-driven integration, API-centric integration, hybrid integration, and we are also open to extend. Then now for our customers who want to move from PIPO to Integration Suite, right? What do we have? First of all, as you all know, that we will have the end of maintenance of PIPO by 2027 and extended maintenance by 2030. So we have an urgent request to all our customers to move from legacy middleware PIPO to Integration Suite. Or during this journey, if you really want to consolidate your third-party integration platforms too, you can do it and move to Integration Suite. What do we provide you to accelerate your journey? First, we have migration support. We will see further in this chapter, in this session as well, what all tools we provide. We have migration assessment, we have migration wizard or migration tool. Then we also provide you with regression testing tools from our partner ecosystem. A lot of code and skills can be reused when you move to cloud. We also have lifecycle management and end-to-end monitoring as part of Integration Suite. Double-clicking on pre-built accelerators, which are there on SAP Business Accelerator Hub. So we have around 3,800 plus pre-built integrations, 4,300 plus APIs, 600 plus business events to do any-to-any integration. Be it your SAP application, SAP Concur, S/4HANA, Fieldglass, SuccessFactor, or your third-party integrations, Salesforce, Workday. We have all the pre-built connector. And even if you see our roadmap today, we really focus on building these connector out of the box so that you can, it is easy for you to start your integration journey. Now, coming to the core capabilities of Integration Suite, the first one is the integration assessment. It's based on ISAM methodology. It's a tool-based approach to define and govern your integration technology strategy. We move to cloud integration. Again, one more capability to do your process integration, end-to-end process integration, be it A to A, B to B, B to G, B to C. Then we have our trading partner management and integration advisor. In Integration Advisor, you can create your message implementation guidelines, MAGs, mapping guidelines, using the proposal service, which is based on machine learning algorithms, and manage your B2B scenarios and integrations using trading partner management. We have API management graph. This helps you to expose your data as API, proxify your endpoints, apply policies, protect your endpoints, manage end-to-end lifecycle of your APIs, monetize our APIs. The recent one for API management, where we have introduced a lot of AI, is the AI, using AI or leveraging AI, you can predict the traffic of your APIs for 3 months. So this is a recent one in the kit, have just gone out last week. Yeah, if you have time, we can discuss more on this. But yes, these are the capabilities which you can use Integration Suite for. We have a lot of third-party connectivity as part of open connectors. You can also expose your data and logic as OData service. This is again a recent one in the kit. We have Advanced Event Mesh, which is our flagship EDA strategy or EDA platform to do your eventing architecture, and we help you to sense and respond to business events in real time. Integration Suite is available on Microsoft Azure, AWS, Google Cloud Platform, and Alibaba Cloud, these hyperscalers we support. Now coming to this piece, yeah, which is the focus of the session, we have migration accelerators. Migration assessment is a capability in Integration Suite with which you can connect to your PO system, assess your landscape, and have an effort estimation provided for your ICOs, how many of them are ready to move, how many of them for which you need to do some adjustment or evaluations. we have also migration wizard, which is inbuilt in cloud integration, which will help you to migrate your ICO to cloud. We will also see it in the further down when we see the demo. And last but not the least, once your ICO is moved to cloud, you can also do the regression testing, whether your ICO works the same way how it used to work in PIPO system. We have our partner tools from FICAF and Infor, which helps you to do this. Now, coming to the hybrid part of it, there was also need from PIPO customers to run their integrations in the private landscape, in your private landscape, basically. So we have come up with runtime on Kubernetes, which you can run it in your private landscape, design APIs and your integrations and deploy it in your private landscape. You can design it in cloud and deploy it and run it on your private landscape. As of now, for Edge Integration Cell, we are there on Microsoft AKS, SUSE Rancher, Amazon EKS, Red Hat OpenShift, and the recent one, which was added last year in Q4 quarter, was Google Kubernetes Engine. Okay, so this is how our integration suite looks like with respect to the capabilities. Now, we have seen that our customers' landscape, and this is a consolidated data of how our customers' business have scaled. We have around 14,400 plus customers on Integration Suite, out of which, when we see the deployment, how their integration scenarios are deployed, we have seen 75% of their integration scenarios uses non-SAP connectors. Around 1.65 million deployed integration flows, 250 plus connectors, and out of this 250 plus, we have 240 plus connectors just for your third-party integrations. That means non-SAP connectivity. In total, 8,500 plus business accelerator on hub.sap.com and 900K plus systems and applications connected. So you can see with these numbers how you can scale your business, or how Integration Suite is helping our customers to scale the business. We will see in more detail when I talk about customer stories, right? So this is a link for hub.sap.com, where you will see all our pre-built content from partners, also from our community and from SAP, to ease your integration journey. And going further, when you try to move your ICOs to Integration Suite, we also have this in roadmap, and Jannis will also share this. We will try to check and recommend the content which is there, so that your PIPO scenarios can, if they fit in one of the pre-built content, it's easy for you to move. Using pre-built content, we have seen that our customers are benefited, and their integration journey was accelerated by 5x time, and this results in 10x savings for them. Double-clicking on connectors here, if you see our third-party connectors, Google pops up, was recent one, which got added. Salesforce pops up, Coupa, HubSpot. These were a couple of them which we recently added on our plan. And if you see our roadmap, we have a lot of connectors which we also want to add in coming months. Okay, now the interesting part. For this session, for this webinar, what we have done is we have kind of segregated customers who have moved from PO to Integration Suite, modernize their integration in the first half of the section. Harrods, Camara, Etex, and Shimano are few reference customers publicly available on our site. I have just provided the links here. Feel free to check. Then in the second part, we have our customers who have moved from PO to Integration Suite, as well as they have modernized their legacy third-party landscapes to Integration Suite. You can see the names here: Murphy Oil, Mahindra, Krenar, and so on. Double-clicking on Camara's integration journey, right? So Camara, together with CBS, and they have used FIGAF tool for their tests. they were into transformation, digital transformation with S/4HANA. Yeah. And during this transformation, they also realized that their middleware has to be Integration Suite. They had around 380 plus, 363 plus interfaces, and they migrated to Integration Suite in 15 months. And now you can see their landscape. They have a 50% less time taken to set up the new interfaces, a few bit of numbers here. And also they have a lot of time saving and effort saving when they have moved to Integration Suite. And they are now very happy with Integration Suite, using Integration Suite for their enterprise-wide digital transformation. Mahindra, on the other hand, also consolidated the landscape. And as you know, Mahindra has their footprint in automotive industry, headquarters in Mumbai. They also have a footprint in agriculture as well as high-tech industry. And there was a need to really modernize their processes, connect their process, and also do a lot of process automation. And that's where they have used Integration Suite, and they have seen the 35% reduction in development time on the newer platform. Yeah. Also, 20% faster execution of order processing. So these are some examples just to provide you how our customers are using Integration Suite to modernize their landscape, to modernize their integrations, and ease their journey and having the digital transformation in place. With this, I will hand over to Jannis to take us through migration accelerators. Okay, before we move on, I think we have one poll questions. Can we just have the first poll questions regarding the connectors, please? So here is the first question. SAP Integration Suite offers 250 plus adapters. How many of these are for third party? Oh my God, yes. So I did my job well, right? Explaining you. Okay, 5% says 50, 4% 100, and 88% to 40 plus connectors. Yes, the answer is 240 plus connectors. As of now, we have 240 plus connectors to do all your third-party integrations, non-SAP integrations, and in total, we have 250 plus connectors. Stay tuned to check our roadmap, and we are working on a lot of other third-party connectors as well. With this, let's move on to our migration accelerators and a bit more on the system, what we have.
Thanks, Shilpa. So it seems like you have the experts in the call, right? So quite experienced here. And let me now continue with the migration accelerators. So what we offer you in order to make it easier, right, to migrate from process orchestration to Integration Suite. So we have a bunch of different capabilities and offerings available. One are guides and best practices. So we have a migration guide. It's also linked here on the bottom that detailedly lists and a roadmap, right? So how you can move from process orchestration to Integration Suite. It includes best practices, also recommendations, what you should do, how you should convert certain elements, and also what you should consider. So I highly recommend going through that guide and reading through it. Besides that, we also have an automatic assessment. Shilpa already mentioned, right, the migration assessment tool. But that migration assessment tool, you can automatically assess the interfaces that you have on process orchestration and then get an estimation whether you can directly move to Integration Suite, or you may have to do some adjustments, right? And you also get an effort estimation as well as the mentioned modernization recommendations there. Then we also have a semi-automatic migration tool so that you create integration flows from your process integration artifacts. So that's also possible that you don't have to model it from scratch, that you can then simply migrate the PO artifacts into integration flows. And that I will also show then later in the demo. Shilpa also highlighted the edge integration cell, so our new hybrid runtime, and we'll also come to that later in detail. And as well, we also have then 2 offerings from our partners that you can then do a regression test tool to also make sure that your integration suite artifacts behave the same, right, that they did on process orchestration. All right, so let's go to the next slide, to the best practices. For cloud integration, we have developed so-called integration flow design guidelines. With that integration flow design guidelines, there are many different aspects covered that you should also go through right before starting development. It covers things like how to apply higher security standards, how to handle errors, what to consider when you do scripts, right? So that's something I definitely recommend to look into. We also have now built into the tool automated design guideline checks. So also when you have an integration flow, you can press a button and then certain design guidelines are being automatically checked, whether they are applied or not. Not all guidelines are covered yet, so still recommend going through the documentation, but yeah, it's, I think, a great help to improve the quality of integration flows. And also for certain application-specific guidelines, you can also find there. And also we have a lot of prepackaged content at the Business Accelerator Hub available. And this also includes then best practice content, enterprise integration patterns. We also release that as integration flows. And of course, we also have prepackaged integration content. So when you want to integrate 2 systems, we also always recommend checking out the Business Accelerator Hub, whether some prepackaged content is available. Then you can just simply use it and configure it, and you also don't need to develop it from scratch. Yeah. And so as mentioned, we have done these guidelines to design enterprise-grade integration flows for specific patterns, right? Like aggregators, splitters, content-based routing. You also get then the recommendation, and there's also some blogs that you can then look into for some more details. Regarding the assessment and the migration tool, I mentioned that we have this migration assessment tool that analyzes your process orchestration interfaces, then gives you an effort estimation and also a kind of t-shirt size, how complex the migration will be. And at the same time also provides recommendations. So we not always say you should do a lift and shift. So if you anyway have to touch the interfaces, we also highly recommend checking for possible modernization of interfaces. Then with the migration tool, you can then, based on certain patterns, migrate the process orchestration interfaces into integration flows and then automatically create them. I will also show that then later in the demo. And these tools are then also part of SAP Integration Suite. So if you then have a license for Integration Suite, you also get these tools if it's the standard or premium edition. And yeah, what does this do? So it definitely helps you to accelerate the migration projects, to also get an overview, right? What has to be migrated. It also minimizes the project risk, right? To get an, let's say, high-level assessment. And of course, there are also no additional costs included. And yeah, you have then some big time savings, right, for the migration when leveraging these capabilities. And as said, we also recommend to not just do a lift and shift, so to also look for a kind of modernization of the interfaces, to have really state-of-the-art recommendations. So for example, could be clean core, that you don't use RFC interfaces, right? That you rather leverage standard content, standard APIs, events, then, or for example, security, that you use a state-of-the-art security authentication mechanisms, and yeah, all these kinds of recommendations you can then also read in the migration guide, and also get from the migration assessment tool, which interfaces then offer a potential to be redesigned, right? Or maybe have a kind of event-driven interface modeled. Then when it comes to testing your interfaces, you can use one of our partner offerings from Infor or FIGAF, free of charge. So when you want to do a migration project from process integration or orchestration to Integration Suite, you get them for up to 12 months. And with these tools, you can, first of all, check how they behave on process orchestration, right? And then apply it onto your new flows in Integration Suite, and then make sure, right, that they behave in the same way. And yeah, testing is a substantial part of the migration effort, right? And with these partner offerings, you can do a faster migration. You have a higher accuracy, and also then can leverage that to make sure the integrations are working as expected. So to sum it up, on the one hand side, we also have some self-service tools that I mentioned, right? Assessment tools, automate migration, automate testing, migration guide, community content, documentation, pre-built integration. So a lot of stuff that you can check out. At the same time, we also have the so-called SAP Migration Factory, where you can also, free of charge, help you in a 2 to 3 weeks program to assess and plan your migration from PIPO to Integration Suite. Also recommend to check that out. The same we have as well when you want to migrate from a standalone offering on Neo to the Integration Suite in Cloud Foundry. And of course, we also have our services team that also then offer support when you want to do the migration. They also then offer tailored services end-to-end for the entire life cycle, or also, right, the Max Attention team then also offers PIPO workshops, proof of concepts, health check, and also go live support. All right, and yeah, with that, we can maybe start the second poll, right, real quick. For Edge Integration Cell, the next topic then, what is Edge Integration Cell about? Is it a flexible runtime? Is it a runtime to deploy integrations in the cloud, or is it a runtime to deploy only APIs? All right, yeah, I think most people got it right. Yeah, the first option, it's a flexible runtime. And yeah, let's maybe double click again on the Edge Integration Cell. It is, as mentioned, an optional additional hybrid runtime. So in the past, we only had the runtime in the cloud. And now we offer the option to also have an additional runtime on-premise or on the private cloud. Why did we offer this? So especially when we look at our PIPO customers, right, they have a requirement to have on-premise to on-premise integrations, right? If you have two on-premise systems, ground-to-ground scenarios, you do not want to go through the cloud and back. So you want to stay within your own data center. You also have compliance reasons that you say the data is not allowed to leave your data center. It should stay on-premise. And yeah, that are one of the reasons why we then offered the option to have an additional runtime. It's then, as mentioned, a hybrid runtime. So how does it work? You still model all your integration flows in the cloud, and then for the deployment, you can choose between the runtime in the cloud or the Edge Integration Cell. The design, as mentioned, still happens in the cloud. All integration flows are more or less compatible. So the flows that you model in the cloud can also be deployed on premise. We have some limitations there, but yeah, more or less all functions already available. In addition, we also now have the option to model API artifact in a common designer, so that you can have integration flow steps combined with API management policies. That is then a new thing that got released only on Edge Integration Cell. And one Edge Integration Cell always belongs to one Integration Suite tenant, and one Integration Suite tenant can have multiple Edge Integration Cells. The Edge Integration Cell is then something that the customer must provision. So before it was like software as a service, so we provided everything for you. Customers didn't have to worry. Now, when you want to deploy it on-prem, you as a customer have to bring a Kubernetes cluster on one of these operators, so Microsoft AKS, Amazon, or Google GKE for the hyperscalers, right? If you want to run it in the private cloud. And then we have Red Hat OpenShift and SUSE Range are also available. So for example, if you want to deploy it in your own data center. So that's something that you have to bring, right? A Kubernetes cluster, and you also have to bring a database, in this case, a Postgres SQL database and a Redis database. We also have that on the roadmap to also support HANA database in the future. And once you then provide these prerequisites, you can then install Edge integration cells and then also run your integration scenarios on-premise again. And also, we usually expect a connection to the internet, but if there is temporary connectivity loss, you will be also able to operate these operations. So that's it for the theory. Let's have a look at the demo, how this looks like into the system. And I would start here with the integration suite tenant. So this is our integration suite tenant, and Shilpa mentioned, right, we have many different capabilities, and with the one I want to start is now the migration assessment. So I can start that here where it is assess migration scenarios. I have to log in again. And now the migration assessment tool is opening. Maybe change to full screen here. So first of all, I have to do a data extraction. So I have to connect to my process orchestration system, right? I have to configure in the settings, the system connection, and then I can do a new extraction. Either I do a complete extraction of all scenarios, or we have also now the option to only have a look at certain integration scenarios. So I now don't do this because this takes some time to get all the data out and then into the migration assessment tool. You can already see we have done that here multiple times. And once you have done this data extraction, we have the data available and then can do a scenario evaluation. So then we also have to give it a name, right? Demo webinar, I select then a data extraction request, give it a name, and then I say create, and now the data is being evaluated based on the extract, right? It also takes some time. It's usually a bit faster, but yeah, let's maybe have a look at the, no, it's finished. Let's have a look at the dashboard here. So now I have an overview about the integration scenarios. Here you see the green scenarios, so they are ready to be migrated. You don't have to adjust anything. For some, there is an adjustment required. So for example, if you use the file adapter at the moment, we do not support file adapter yet. So you may would have to adjust to SFTP adapter. And for some migration scenarios, you also would have to do a detailed evaluation, right? So we cannot automatically assess here. So it would require manual assessment in addition. We also provide a t-shirt size, SML and XL. So you also get a feeling, right, how much effort it is to migrate the interfaces. And I also mentioned this modernization recommendations that we have, as well as the use sender and receiver adapters. So you get a good overview, and also here in this integration scenario, you get then a detailed list, which scenario has which size, and also the assessment category. You can also download it as an Excel report if you press the export button. And we also have a PDF version available. Let me just open it. 1 second. Let me close the full screen mode. No. Sorry, I had this FN lock. So now the full screen mode is closed, and I can now open, for example, Excel for a detailed list. And let me open real quick the PDF. So the PDF looks like this. It's like a report that you get here, and you see here as well all the details, right, about the scenarios which are ready to migrate. What are the recommendations? And if you want to double click right on the system, you also see here the messages that have been processed in the last months. And also you get an effort estimation, how much days, right, you probably will take. So minimum, maximum, and an average effort. So this would be around 29 days in our case. So that's all something that you get with this report based on PDF. And we have also at Excel a really detailed list about the interfaces, then the characteristics. So for example, if you use the SOAP adapter, what is here the effort, and can you SOAP adapter? We also have an integration suite. So it would be, for example, ready to migrate. You then get here a detailed list, how the evaluation was being done, right? What is the reason for the weights and the assessment? And also here you would then see the detailed recommendations. So for example, that you switch to event-driven integrations, or that you use different adapters, right? So it's a really detailed report that you get, right? And that would be the migration assessment tool. Let's continue with the migration of the integration artifacts. For the migration of the artifacts, we then can jump into one integration package. There we can then press this migrate button here, and with that migrate button, you then can migrate artifacts from your process orchestration system. The same as the migration assessment, we first have to select a system, and then we can then select an ICO in our case. So for example, let's use here this integration configuration, right? So you can then select it. You say then next, then you can select the pattern. So it sees then, okay, it's a point-to-point asynchronous pattern, right? Then you can say next, and then you can also import the message mapping. So either the message mapping would be reusable, so you create a reusable artifact if the message mapping is being used also in other interfaces. If it's not the case, you can also just leave it, and then you can give the integration flow a name and review it, and then migrate the integration flow. And then the integration flow is being created in your system, and you then can jump to it and open it. So let me use this one that I also migrated the SOAP to REST. So in this case, I migrated also an ICO with a SOAP interface. Then you have some conversions. You call an S4 system and then get the response back. And so now we have created the integration flow. We can then do configuration if required. So we can change, for example, the URLs, or I think they probably would say the same, but maybe the credential names you would have to give, right? Or maybe recreate, and can also check if everything is fine. And at the end, then we can say deploy. And I mentioned you can then select the runtime profile. So you can either deploy this on cloud integration, you can also deploy this on edge integration cells. Say yes. And now the integration flow is being deployed onto our edge integration cell runtime. And if we want to monitor these integration scenarios, you can then also change here in the monitor with this drop down between cloud integration and your edge integration cell instances. So this is now my edge integration cell instance. And here I have now this integration flow started. It takes some time until the endpoint gets replicated here to this monitor, but yeah, it looks good. So the integration flow has the started status. I now can do a request to my edge integration cell endpoint via Postman, for example. Now I just do a simulation. Now the message was successful. I can have again a look at the messages, and here you see the message has been completed successfully. So that would then be one example how you can migrate an artifact from process orchestration to integration suite and then deploy it on premise to your edge integration cell instance. And that would be also the end of the demo. Let's jump back to the slides. All right. So let's have a look at the recent innovations and also the roadmap that we have planned for the future. So what we released recently was we had a new edition launch, the starter edition for S4 Grow customers and SuccessFactors customers. So especially for smaller enterprises that you can then deploy 10 custom iFlows. It's a kind of cheaper edition, but also has some limitation. As mentioned, you can only deploy then 10 custom iFlows, but for smaller customers, this could be already sufficient. Then we relaunched our API Business Hub Enterprise into Developer Hub. So it's now called Developer Hub. It still includes all the APIs, but we also plan here to deliver events as well. So that you can also leverage or upload event specification and make them available for your developers with the API management capability. Then for GenAI, we also introduced the first features. So we have script optimization, anomaly detection, and also a basic iFlow generation available with the Premium edition. Then for our PIPO migration, we also improved this. We have now pattern-based approach when migrating the artifacts, support more and more have data types, message types as well, right? And also plan here to improve it further. Come to that then in the roadmap part. And also for event-driven real-time data, there then we have our advanced event mesh offering. And as mentioned, more and more third-party adapters have been released and also will be released in our roadmap. The key innovation areas, as mentioned, so one top priority is really our PIPO customers, that we can migrate them, that we have there the feature parity. So stuff, for example, like exactly once in order will then also be supported soon. Then what we also will invest is AI, that we improve the developer productivity, that we leverage AI to make the lives of you as an integration developer easier, that it's then, for example, generation of scripts and mappings, right, then will really bring a bigger value than to you as a customer. For the business accelerators, as mentioned, we also plan to provide more third-party adapters and simplify the process. And also, as mentioned, right, we don't only have the adapters, we also have the packages for third-party adapters, for example, Salesforce, right? There you also get integration flows and not only the technical adapters. That then really helps you to speed up development of integration artifacts. And also API and event-driven integration will be a major investment then in the upcoming year. When we double-click on the roadmap, right, for the PIPO migration, I mentioned exactly once an order will come soon. We will also support a generation of APA proxies in Integration Suite. Then we will also then recommend standard integration content, right? When you do the migration, check if there's standard content. there, and also for Edge Integration Cell, there will be some improvements. For example, the shared cluster support, that you require fewer privileges when installing Edge Integration Cell, that we also then provide additional policies for API management, that we have access policies for Edge Integration Cell, and also we will support HANA as a database. For AI, we will have a tool-based generation of integration flows. We will have content recommendations from Joule. We will have as well the generation of mappings that I mentioned, generation of scripts, and also then additional flow steps to really increase then the developer productivity. And also for the PIPO migration, for example, we can then leverage to convert them custom content from PIPO, for example, Java mappings, then to Integration Suite artifacts. So there we are also looking into the usage of AI. And also what we released recently is then also the volume prediction. So not only the anomaly detection we have now, so we also, I think it was released last week, yeah, that we also have then a prediction of the API call volume. We also have additional accelerators planned. So for example, for Google Cloud Storage, for Microsoft, OneNote, what we did deliver was IBM MQ. We did also deliver Google PubSub, right? So some stuff we already delivered, some stuff we still will deliver of the P2 adapter, X400 adapter, I think, also then planned for this year, as well as the file adapter. They will also exclusively come then with Edge Integration Cell. Yeah. On the API-centric and event-driven integrations, I mentioned the Developer Hub, so there we will then get event support in the Developer Hub. We will also get more fine granular roles for API management to have there then better restrictions in. And for advanced event mesh, we plan to integrate it with SAP Cloud ALM and Focus Run, so that you have then an end-to-end monitoring, right, from the events from your source system to your to the advanced event mesh, and also then with advanced event mesh you anyway have to distribute the tracing, right, to then also make sure that the event reaches then also the consuming systems. Yeah. Then the same goes for this migration from the old event mesh standalone capability to advanced event mesh. There we will also then offer a migration accelerator. Yeah, that would be it for the roadmap part. In general, you can leverage Integration Suite to future-proof your business, right? To sum it up, I think it's important to think strategically. So we recommend, first of all, that if you have new projects, right, if you have to touch integrations again, right, stop investing in PIPO or stop investing in the standalone capabilities. Really implement all your new projects on Integration Suite already, right? That you don't have then to migrate later on again. That would be one ask. The second ask is that you also not only say to do a lift and shift, right? It's not always the best option. It's a good opportunity now as well to do a modernization of the interfaces, and also that you define then your integration principles. For example, with the integration solution advisory methodology, also in combination, right, that you have an integration strategy, and then make sure also that for the future your integrations are for future proof, and have a long-term view on that. When you want to get started, our recommendation is always to start small and focused. So to choose first the scenarios that are easy to migrate, right? To not start with a very complex scenario. So start with an easy scenario. Choose there one of our best practices. Also check our modernization recommendations, right? Have a modern protocol like REST, OData, SOAP. Use modern integration styles, for example, event-driven, right? Go for clean core, right? Do not leverage RFC cores, rather switch to REST or OData. And also, if you have pre-built integration content, if there's pre-built integration content provided, leverage that, right? So then you don't even have to build it from scratch. And also Cloud ALM, then you can use for an end-to-end monitoring and also alerting. So start small, gain some confidence, get familiar with Integration Suite and also the differences that it brings. And once you then have successfully implemented the first scenarios, then you can scale with confidence. You can approach more complex scenarios and tackle the interfaces, right? That maybe have some customizations, have some custom code, and then go to the mission critical scenarios and run them then also in Integration Suite. All right, yeah, that's then also the end of our session. As mentioned, Integration Suite used by lots of customers already. It's scalable. It's not only SAP to SAP, so you can integrate everything, whether it's SAP or non-SAP systems. We have a lot of accelerator integration content available, right? That's our main differentiator. So not only the technical adapters, also really the business content available that you can leverage, speed up your integration projects and save a lot of time and costs. Yeah? And also maintenance is taken care by us. Also for modernization and consolidation, SAP Integration Suite is the tool of choice. And with that, you have some more links also here on the slides that you can leverage, that you can learn more about, whether it's then our community page, right, which I always recommend as a starting point. The migration support that you get, a free tier offering. So you also have a 90-day free tier offering, as well as then also the roadmap. And some more links, the strategy paper, CIO guide, had the really emphasis that SAP Integration Suite is the strategic tool of choice from SAP also for the future. And also recommend, as mentioned, this Business Accelerator Hub, where we have all of our APIs, events, and pre-built integrations listed, as well as the adapters that are available, and of course our community content as well. So you can, as mentioned, start today. And with that, thank you very much for your attention. I think we have 5 minutes left if there are some questions.
Yeah, I see there are still
Open.
some questions in the chat. We have here one question. Can CIDS replaced by the SAP Integration Suite? CIDS is only used for IBP system with our S/4HANA on-premise system.
Data services, yes, you can also then leverage Integration Suite for this. Yeah, so there you also have then cloud integration as a capability there, and this should be possible.
And also just to add here, we also have a bit of IBP scenarios integrated already, and you can check out on Business Accelerator Hub our content as part of our last TechEd session. Also, we had the hands-on exercises for this. So just feel free to Google our TechEd sessions on this integration. We had around 14 to 15 questions. I tried answering a couple of 14 questions are already answered. There is one question which is left is how can we deal with or migrate iDocs, right?
So we have.
Please
So
go ahead.
so you either can do a modernization, right? But it's also we also have an iDoc adapter, right? So I think on the one hand side, you can check if you want to leverage like standard APIs instead. Or if you say I want to still use iDocs, it's also possible with cloud integration. We have an iDoc adapter, so also there you can still also use iDocs still. Yeah? So it's at the end up to you as a customer or what you decide. Yeah?
Okay. I have another question. Custom domain is a free service or a chargeable service?
So you can use a custom domain, right? I'm not sure if we charge for it in addition. Shilpa, do you know it
I
by
think I have to double
chance?
click on this. Maybe
Yeah.
Shahid, can you just please write to us, both of us, on this mail ID? We will confirm you. I don't think we charge, but yeah, we have to confirm this. So let's confirm it via mail.
Okay, with that, I think we have our question answered.
Yeah, so
If there is a, sorry?
so, Krenar, just one closing remark on this. I have just shared a roadmap explorer link where whatever Jannis was telling about the roadmap items, anyways, it is there in the presentation. This presentation will be shared with you, and you will have all the possible links for best practice guidelines, migration accelerators, roadmap, and all. So, yeah.
Okay, no, that's perfect. So if there are any other questions, now it's the time to speak up or write the question in the chat. In the meanwhile, we will continue next week with our next session, which is around the topic update on AI innovation for the BPC move for SAP Rise and Grow. So next Tuesday at the same time. And I see that we don't have any additional questions. So thank you a lot, Shilpa. Thank you a lot, Jannis. Thank you all to the participants that have joined today. Looking forward to welcome you also onto our next week's session. And with that, have a very nice day and have a very nice rest of the week.
Thank you so much,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.